Hello, and welcome to the Art of Presence podcast. I'm your host, Christine Pollard. In this episode, I'm joined by Nadja, and this is truly a journey of the unknown. Within the uncertainty of what to expect during our time together, step by step, the journey is revealed and reminds us of other journeys we've taken in our lives, which we will share about. So join me in practicing the art of presence as Nadja shares with us. I invite you to notice what comes up for you as you listen, and as always, feel welcome to share with us. Enjoy the episode. All right, so we just finished the meditation, and I'm curious what's present for you right now.
I noticed that it was very busy day today for me, really full. And when you ask me to feel abundance of breath, I think that after that I was just drawn away and dropped in this breath, and it was really nourishing just to letting go and just to be and listening your voice. And when you ask what's present, I really notice, I was really missing just to stop and to breathe. Yeah.
I hear you say the word nourishing. That feels rich. Just coming back to your breath and slowing down after a busy day.
Yeah, I think what's coming, it's when you say nourishing, it sometimes feel like something extra, like a care, and it's not like a luxury. It's just something very obvious we do every day. But I guess when I was inviting to do, and we are doing it together, something changed for me. And I guess that was like feeling the softening, dropping, and this nourishing me just, I can just let it go.
That's beautiful.
Letting go, and connect. And maybe just to name that I really was not preparing or thinking about coming here. So I came and with really curiosity, let's meet. And I came.
You did. You're here. What's it like to be here right now?
I like the space being together. I see you. I like your voice. I feel we are together. I feel a bit playful, and my heart is really opening. I feel like I dropped in my chair. I'm really very supported from behind. My legs are really comfortable. And I guess I'm just a little bit opening because I don't know where we will go. But it feels like, okay, let's play. Let's see.
I hear that playfulness and the curiosity and being okay. It sounds like, anyway, being okay with the not knowing. Being, when you say playfulness, it kind of like this adventurous type or something part that's like, let's see what this is.
Yeah, let's see, let's try, let's do a first step. That feels important. Don't just prepare. That seems important to name it, but let's start to move it.
Yeah. Can I name something that stood out to me?
Please.
When you were talking about nourishment, and then another word that came to you, but you knew it wasn't, was luxury. And that was really interesting to me, how luxury came in, even though you know that this nourishing breath is not a luxury. But what comes up for me is that the quality of that abundant breath was potent. That's what comes up for me.
And I really like when I hear that you say, I really like that you invited me to abundance breath. Like, we usually don't say, okay, now I will really do abundance breath. But when I hear you say to me, when you said to me, I think that already this invitation starts to open me. And the invitation softens me, invitation opens me. And even saying to me now, I already feel, oh, I can even expand more. It's just, I'm not present with my breathing, but when you invite me, I become present. And I notice that I breathe more. And I guess that was for me, like when I said nourished, because I like it. It feels, I can just let it go and be received.
When I hear you say nourish, and then I hear you say to be received, when I hear nourish, I hear receiving as well. Is that true for you?
Yes.
I saw a really big smile.
Yes, because I first I started thinking, oh, but you know me. Yeah, it's really true. But at the same time, it's so true that I am aware of that I receive so much when I'm nourished in deep conversations. And yeah, I receive a lot. Even sometimes I think, oh, yeah, that's interesting what's coming, that I need to think what I will say so that the words will matter, but I don't have time. So the words just come. And yeah, and then I think because of that, it's even more, sometimes I'm so surprised what's coming, and that even the words can be so nourished. And then I receive that, taking in when I feel how I was noticed from someone. So when you say to me that, I expand even more, and I become more open. It feels like, oh, I can receive and I can expand more into what it's coming. It's not like intentional I'm doing. It's just, yeah, it feels like a dance. Again, we are again at this dance. But yeah, it feels like it's something about exchange or being present. Is I am aware you are present with me. And when you are aware, it becomes like receiving and giving in exchange.
Yeah.
If it makes a sense, what I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
That you are present with what your experience is right now, but that you are also aware that I am present with you. So I'm noticing you, and you're noticing you, and you're noticing me noticing you.
And it's fun. It's playful. It's not like distracting, be observed or something, So I guess I'm open more. I'm not closing, but yeah, it's like, okay, let's meet. Let's meet more. It's like that kind of it's the same. Yeah, it's like it's the same feeling when we real met, and I was expecting this meeting to happen, and I was thinking before it happened, and I was thinking about how it will go, and then when it did happen, it was so full of life, and I feel it's something about that, that I feel a yes in my body. So I'm open to and curious to, and already this saying it, I feel how brings me joy.
I see you remembering when we met in person this October, and you mentioned the thinking, the planning, the what is this going to be like? And I guess I kind of hear some echoes of even just starting like this conversation, like, what is this going to be like? But being open. But I keep hearing you mentioning expanding and expanding more, or like more opening, more expansion. And then it seems like with that, there's more curiosity or more playfulness, or this willingness to like take another step and see, kind of.
Can I ask you how, when you say expansion, how do you notice expansion?
Like in myself, in my body?
Yeah.
For me, well, it depends on where I was feeling constricted. So whether it's in my chest or it's in like my belly, those tend to be kind of two spots where I will feel constricted. And when I feel constricted, there's like a shape and a weight to it. And when I experience expansion, it softens, it lightens, it grows out, bigger, taking up more space, but it's not heavy. It's lighter, it's calm.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of radiates out, I feel like. Becomes no longer just contained within my body, but can like reach out. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And you feel my expansion when you said.
I noticed you saying the word more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And so I heard you saying expanding, like you were in the state of it happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, and I feel more expansion and more opening. And so to me, it just, like when I resonate with that feeling of expansion and I recall it to myself and I feel what expansion feels like, and then when you say more and more, then I sense that in my system as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for saying that, because hearing you say that, what I meant, I mean, what I received now, it's that expansion. It's really, I was closed before, or it was probably something contract. And when expansion starts to happen, that means, it's like a release, or it's like, it doesn't mean that it was before bad and now it's good, but it's just more, and expansion. What brings for me, it's like it's no end. It's not the end yet. So I feel it's a space where so much can move.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, yeah, I think it's more, it's bring me more to flow. And that's something I love. But yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think about it like before, but when you said it like that, it's actually contraction and then it's expansion. So I was not even present with that before, that this could through my day was happening, because it was just full day of busy stuff and it's coming to evening here. So it was so much to do that I was not present, that I'm all day on that, it was nice, but it was full. And hearing you say that invitation to me, I came to, I can just go more into to being and feeling and sensing, not, and that's already also something opposite to how my day was. And that's interesting to observe how with really short invitation of exploring, not knowing where we will go, I notice change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fun because I don't know where do we need to come, and we can still be next to each other, or be together. And it's also true that I like it because I know it's possible to play that kind of
Yeah. Yeah. Can I reflect something?
Please.
So I heard you say that you weren't observing any contraction to begin with, but that whatever you were experiencing at the start wasn't bad, right? Like, I think there can be some polarity around, like constriction, bad, expansion, good. And you made that distinction that, like, okay, when I started, sure, maybe it was more constricted because you sensed the expanding, but it wasn't like a bad thing. It wasn't a bad state that you were in, that you were just noticing changing states, changing sensations, that you find the expansion. You didn't use this word, but how it came to me was pleasant doesn't just make it, good, but it's just how you're experiencing it in that moment. And so I noticed that seemed really clear for you, and not going to those binaries of good or bad. Just is. That's your experience. You're observing it without putting an evaluation on it. And then right here, I heard you say that even though this is still like a journey, we're taking these steps together and you still don't know where it's going, and we don't have like a destination to reach exactly, that we are in it together, that we're in this being that we are experiencing together. We're taking this journey, and there continues to be curiosity around, okay, what's the next step? Where is it going to take us? That's what I hear.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, I mentioned when you came, but I think in general, I see in my life for example, what also brought me to this expansion was that I didn't know, but it came like a bit of surprise to me. And this feels like something more as I can plan, or something like I will be surprised, or some magic is there. I don't know, but it will happen. And then when it's happening, then I just feel so nourished that I can feel it. And I'm curious if this is you meant before when you said that I am also receiving. That's just coming to me now. That because of that, I just want to be like the best day for us. But then the day goes completely own way, and then just so much beautiful things happen to us, and it's so full and so not structured by it's by mind or by rules or by expectation. It's just, okay, where do you want to go now? Remember? And then, and I came with all this plan in my head, what needs to happen that have like a meaning, that was, but actually all this, what I was not knowing, and all this what then happened was actually even more beautiful gift. So it's something more when I experience, and that's when I connect with that, then I believe it's that when it's like, when I said expansion, because it's like until I'm present, it's still there. So it's like no end, doesn't, even when we say goodbye and we split, it's still, it's still, I am still on that wave somehow, So I just bring that because I know you were also there. So I feel, I think you will maybe easier understand what I'm trying to say. But definitely, I think that when I'm saying that, it's that I like to co-create with life. So when then I receive that, then it's even more full. Yeah.
Yeah. Two things are coming to mind. One is that poem that Rebecca used to read, and parts of it were like, because you're still in it and it's still moving. And you had said, like, it's still there and I'm becoming present to it. So it's like that experience that we had when we met in Croatia, when you had these plans because you wanted me to just have this wonderful day with you, this visit, seeing Zagreb, and because that's what tourists do, right? They come, they want to see all the best things, and yeah, I didn't come to be a tourist. I came to be with you. And you had mentioned the word surprise at one point when you were sharing, and then you were also talking about how we didn't have a plan. It was just, what should we do now? Where should we go now? And we were just doing that together. And yeah, so I hear like echoes of that still with you, and that this experience is kind of tapping into that as well, and how it's, you can become present to it because it lives inside you. It's still there.
Yeah.
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 What's it like to hear me say that?
Mm, like a gift. Yeah, it's like it's no ending.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like you said, we say goodbye, but
Yeah,
it's not the end. It
yeah,
keeps moving until next time.
yeah. Or
Or even
just
then. Yeah.
yeah. We don't know, but yeah, it's. But at the same time, for me, it's like I feel grateful.
Mm.
I feel grateful that we spend a day, a really unstructured day. And even thinking how then they changed with
Mm-hmm.
you receiving news, for example, coming,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, but still, I think it was very beautiful day for me.
It was a
And
beautiful day for me.
yeah, yeah,
And I was so grateful to have you there when I got the news that my flight the next day had been canceled. And I was, on the verge of panic because I didn't know how I was going to
yeah.
get home. Um, and the news took actually, it said they were going to send me my rebooking information and they never did. I had to reach out to them. And so there was that kind of panic and the waiting and how's this going to work out? And it was so nice to have you there with me. And you were just like, how can I be here for you? How can I support you? Um, that even though that's not how we had planned to spend our time together either.
Let's call them. Let's find out the new plane. And nobody answered. Remember? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the end, when I'm thinking now back, we did what we could do, and then the rest, it was also receiving what they came with. And even I didn't that for you to happen, it felt like we can't do much about it. And at the end, how much longer you came home? How
Yeah.
long it takes you then? 2 days more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got stuck in London because the flight that I got rebooked on, um, already pushing it to get me home on time, because it left much later in the day, and then my flight was delayed leaving, and they didn't give me very long layovers when they rebooked me, so I missed my flight in London, and I was again panicking, like, what am I going to do? I'm here by myself in London in the afternoon. What do I do? Right? But it was so funny because that trip really showed me to trust because I ended up getting rebooked on a direct flight from London to my home city,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
I never expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, good. I don't have to make any more flights.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a risk of missing another flight. And that was so welcome. And then they covered my hotel, my food. So I was taken care of and I could relax because for like 24 hours before that, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how I'm going to get home. I don't know how this is going to work.
I
And then it
remember.
happened,
Yeah, I remember. I
the thing I
remember
didn't want
that
to happen happened.
I ask you, do you go out now? Because are you first time in life? You remember? And you said, I'm so tired. I'm just here in the room, like eating and taking the rest. And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I remember that unplanned journey. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I was boarding the plane, well, trying to board the plane, my ticket wasn't working. And they were like,
Mm.
"Oh, you've been taken off this flight." I'm like, "What? How?" I checked in yesterday here at the airport. What do you mean? Why would you take me off? I need to get home. It
Yeah.
made no sense. But then they're like, "Oh, well, there's extra spaces. We'll put you on. We'll get you
Mm.
back in." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I ended up with an entire row to myself. So I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, I would have been next to two people on this cramped 9-hour flight home." But then I got all this space.
Mm.
And I was just like, why was I so worried? Of course, it doesn't always work out that way. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I was worried and I ended up being taken care of. And that was really eye opening for me and really stuck with me to chill out when my
Mm-hmm.
plans aren't always working. And yeah, I would have loved to see more of London. I would have loved to go experience something. And I was so tired from all of it that it's like I just need to take care of myself. And hopefully I can come back to London one day. Which wasn't even a stop that I was supposed to have, so
Yeah.
wasn't even planning on being there. Fortunately, I had my adapters so I could still like plug in my phone.
Mm.
Since I had just been in Ireland and they had the same ones. And I was like, what if I had gone to a country and I didn't have the thing and I couldn't use a phone anymore? Cut off from information and support and whatever. I would have survived, but
Yeah.
little things I was grateful for. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I hear is also how it's the opposite we recognize when it's happening and even didn't know before, how it can go, and we then become so much appreciative, and what I hear, like how it was also important for you to just be there in the room and home, and it was just sometimes also probably too much, when all this change
Mm-hmm.
is happening, and it was different direction from the beginning, and then yeah, how all these changes you need to do to come back home, and not knowing, and still, yeah, I really hear how big it is. And I
Yeah.
know you still did it, you did it, and you came back, and yeah, I just imagine how stressful sometimes can be when even thinking about, oh, but my family is waiting, and going
Mm-hmm.
to these thoughts, but the same time you were there moving these places from one place to another place, and I just see how, yeah, it's something, I think, for what's coming for me, it's something about life that we can't hold everything and plan, and you know what I mean. So I really hear when you become more present with what is,
Mm.
then it starts to soften, that yeah, you can move what you needed to do.
Yeah, that was a big, big thing for me. That was my first time traveling alone. I think, I mean, I've flown by myself, but I haven't in the US, but I haven't really like been on a trip where it's just
Mm-hmm.
me, where like I'm staying in a hotel by myself. Like, I don't know that, I can't remember if I'd done that before. So flying by myself was fine, but traveling fully by myself was a new experience for me. And doing that in different countries was an extra layer of uncertainty.
Yeah. Very, very powerful and experience to receive, right? At the end.
Yeah. But you were there checking in on me, supporting me. Yeah. That was helpful.
Yeah, because now just when I was listening, I remembered when I traveled and I was traveling. I was just with my son 2 days ago watching here some guys who are in India traveling. And I remember when I was in India and you have a train ticket, and even there, I don't know, a few kilometers, 500 kilometers, for example, you travel really long time. And you start somewhere and you pay a ticket, and then somewhere in the middle, the plans change and you end up driving 1,000 kilometers and you end up in completely other way what I planned. And I met a father and a daughter on the coupe where I was sleeping. And when they changed a plan, I was really in conversation because Indian people are so they are so interesting in everything what's happening outside of India. And the girl was so happy to meet me, and I was traveling and they were so interesting what I'm doing. And then they call the mom, the wife, and they were really living just south, completely south of India. And we meet Nadja, like someone from Slovenia, can we bring her home? And I went with them to stay with them 2 days. Then with completely strangers who they were so nice. And we met on that train, and then it was such a beautiful experience I could never plan. And that's how for me was, and I still believe it. It's a traveling can be so rich because you never know who you will meet, with who I will connect, where surprise is coming. And sometimes people say, "Oh, it's so hard to travel by yourself." It's really easy to travel by yourself because then you can reorient much more as if you are traveling like a whole family, for example. It's but I'm just feeling you when you were saying that experience, and I remember that for me after few months I became so used to it that traveling journeys are just so full of surprises. They just don't go that way as we think that the flight will go, and then we will maybe the short one, okay, but usually and especially in India, it's like you don't know, and it's not going in the way as you are planning. And and I really need that time when I was there to start practicing the patience, because everything was going opposite as I was thinking it will go. And the distances also are so long, and even traveling on these trains are tiring. And at the end, I so love it. When I'm thinking now back, I so love it. no? But when I was in it, I remember that I was really so angry. I couldn't get it that they can change the road in the middle of driving, you know? But
Yeah.
it happened. It happened, and I received so much, like for my life, just from that train. Yeah.
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 I see that as you're telling it, and when you were mentioning what you'd received, like and that you're in it again, right? As you're
Mm.
recalling this and you're feeling that, and your face was just lit up and a big smile, and I can see how meaningful it was for you.
Mm. Mm.
It sounds really cool. The people that you met and they invited you to stay with them, and like
Yeah,
it sounds like a
they
really
were
beautiful time.
really, and they were so nice family, and yeah, beautiful people, and yeah, new connections, new new mothers, new travelers, new relationships. Even I remember I said first week, I really hate. I feel like I am punished somehow to end up here because it was so hard.
Mm.
And one guy, I think he was Japanese, on the sleeping train came and said, "Oh, I see you are crying. You will see at the end, you will love this country." And I will never love this country. It's not possible I will love this country. Everything goes opposite and wrong, you know. And at the end, I think it was just 1 week, and I started to fall in love.
Mm.
And it's a really beautiful place, but so different. And yeah, it has really special place in my heart. But just saying that, I realized how much it was a gift, because I was so surprised by the magic it happened, you know. And yeah, and I need to somehow find this part of me who would not just doesn't know what to do, but also go further and ask, and moving further and finding new ways, and you know, and that experience, I feel, then gave me also new places and new people. And yeah, I'm just trying to say that I realize, I am aware how hard it was for me,
Mm.
you know, when I was there in the station where it was so many people that and no tickets for 2 weeks, and I just wanted to go out, and they said, no, you know, no, it's not possible. After 1 week, maybe after 1 week. And I find a way, you know, I connect, I ask, I met people who gave me the new solutions, that how I start to move through what seems to be like, yeah, what we can say, like like contractions are stopping me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I see how you reached out and you found help. And I know
Mm.
for me on this trip as well, I had to ask for a lot of help when certain
Mm.
things weren't working out, like when my phone wouldn't connect when I got to Ireland and I had no way of communicating with anybody other than on Wi-Fi at the airport, and just how accommodating people were when I
Mm.
asked. and how hard it has always been for me to ask. So that really stretched me, to ask for help. And I got the help, I received it. And that's really kind of the theme that I'm hearing throughout this conversation is this receiving.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much receiving. It feels it's already there in the field, waiting just for us to ask.
Yeah. 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 How much is missed when we don't.
Yeah.
And this exchange, the exchange too. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how we end up with traveling, but I really like it. Yeah.
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 Well, this is kind of a reflection of some of our travels. This is a journey on its own, not traveling physically, but this is kind of its own journey. And I see how it's kind of tapping into the other journeys. And when you talk about the expanding and the receiving and what comes up for you, other experiences where you've had similar sensations or echoes of those experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really wonderful maybe stopping point, and maybe just sharing what we're each taking with us from this.
You want me to start?
If you're ready. If you're not, I can go.
You go, please.
Sure. Well, I've known you for a long time now, and with you, it's easy to go deep. It's easy for me to be present. And so I just feel gratitude when we get to experience being with each other. Because sometimes it's, work related and not so much just being with each other, just to be with each other. And so that's what I really liked about the trip when I came to visit you. We got a whole day to just be together. And so I'm really just grateful for another experience of being together and the ease that I feel with that and the gift that I feel it is to experience this presence together. And I think maybe the word presence can bring up a lot of different things for people, or they might feel like it's woo-woo or like lame or whatever. But like when I truly experience it, it is just like nothing else. And it stays with me. And I receive that. And yeah, I'm taking that in, adding to what I already have inside and keeping more of that for myself. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Christine. It was so beautiful what you said.
What are you leaving with?
Yeah, so many things, and I'm trying to make a dots of all the traveling we did today and how it's actually so connected. That because when you said about that presence, I remember actually that what was truly a gift for me when we met and how we spent that one day we had was just being in each other's presence and enjoying so much. And I think the only direction was just if we are hungry, if where we want to go, and all the rest was open. And it was so easy, and it was, asking invitations, being together, talking, making fun. And that how was this conversation for me. Like, as I said at the beginning, I really wanted that it's open because I don't know, and I trust we will somehow arrive somewhere with the right questions and with the right flow. And I'm so grateful that we touched traveling, because it's a part really dear to my heart. And because I believe in my life, it's really connected with this fullness of life, when I really received so much magic, but also contractions. And and I remember that today, and I'm just thinking, if on this journey, when we are on that traveling or living life, whatever we say, just to remember how would it be for me on that train to hear that I can take abundance breath, and now I know that, and that time I didn't know. And I really see the growth in the journey. And even it looks like, oh, but why you need to go there? It's so hard. Why you don't choose something which is more easier? I don't know. It's still unanswered for me, but it's like I expand more. I receive more. Yeah. And at the end, what I said, I think this is that life then we receive and feel in us, or I feel it in me.
Yeah. I like that part at the end when you were saying you don't have answers, but you see this growth. You can feel some expansion that it sounds like when you're present with it, you don't really need an answer.
Yeah.
And looking back, you know now something different than what you knew then. And you can receive from both.
Yeah, at the same time, I really hear from both saying today how different experience when we are on our own, and then when we meet with people, we can be together. It just seems it would be so easier to go over anything, that's how it feels. So I'm also taking that with me. That's possibility of moving through so much supported, and then answers show up, way everything make different change.
Yeah.
When we connect. Yeah. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you.
A little bit about Nadja. She is a certified holistic family consultant and educator, trauma-informed, heart-centered guide, and quantum human design family coach. She holds a degree in social work and has deepened her interest with postgraduate education and training in child development and aware parenting, along with practicing presence, attunement, and authentic connection. In her work, she integrates her passions of conscious parenting, pre- and perinatal psychology, human design, and the ancient knowledge of Vedic astrology. She uses this wisdom to empower self-awareness, inner trust, and sacred space holding to listen. She deeply values raising children with awareness, connection, support, and acceptance to feel seen, understood, and connected. She loves to explore heart-to-heart connections, sacred embodiment rituals, and free dolphin magic encounters. She enjoys guiding us into deep self-awareness and exploring the unique, energetic blueprint of our wholeness. In turn, we can guide and support our children to nurture their true potential, following their inner guidance, celebrate heart songs, and live with authentic purpose. She lives with her husband, Matej, and their son, Val, in Slovenia. They love to travel together, exploring new places, experiencing natural learning, and growing new connections. Thank you for being here and listening. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider sharing it or leaving a rating or review? It would be greatly appreciated. And I hope you'll join us for the next episode.